Welcome to Wednesday Night is Overbooked. I know you were probably expecting that fun little montage we have there. Apparently, StreamYard is being a dick, so for this show, we don't have our fun little clips. But don't worry, because we have got a fun show for you guys tonight. Starting with my stage right, it is the man, the myth, the incredibly now controversial, who is muted as well, LeftEyeEgo. Ego, how are you, sir?
Man, I guess this is the start of my heel turn in the IWC. I guess I'll take it. Otherwise, I'm doing good.
Alrighty. And right below here is the real Amara Matt, the unbearable 73. How are you, sir?
What you gonna do when Matt runs all over you? Ooh, yeah.
Probably die. I'm just saying.
That's probably what will
Right.
happen.
We do have some folks in the chat right now. We have one of our wrenches, Mr. Kai. He's listening to us at work. Great thing to do. And our other wrench, Mr. Jacob Ironside, the maker of the fine logo of Wednesday Night is Overbooked. Be sure, if you are a fan of classic TV and classic film, to give his channel a look-see. Ego, do you mind dropping his channel link in the chat?
You got it.
Alrighty. So, we have a goal, double-digit likes. So please, super kick that like button. You can tag in when you share the stream, and you can join our faction when you subscribe. All of our links are down below in the description. It's a free way to support the channel. And again, if you'd like to support the channel in other ways, there's another link down there for that fine Joker Voice merch store. Mouse pads, coffee mugs. Get the larger one. Definitely, it's a bit better.
Yeah, the larger one. Yes.
And very comfortable t-shirts. Very, very comfy t-shirts. As we are now, this is for Mr. Jacob Ironside. If you are a fan of TV and classic film, be sure to check him out. So, we're going to start with a story here. Going into the busiest weekend of professional wrestling, at least this year in my memory, starting with SmackDown. Now, you would think that the WWE might have learned a lesson with the debacle of Travis Scott in the main event of WrestleMania 41. Nope. Apparently, for SmackDown, Jelly Roll is going to have a significant segment on SmackDown, which could lead to a match at SummerSlam. Meanwhile, Carmelo Hayes can barely get on TV. Thoughts, Matt?
Well, I mean, look, it does do cross promotion, so that there's a money issue there. But if you're gonna have these then I don't understand what WWE like. This is one of the things. Few things AEW does right compared to WWE is your mid carders are on the show in AEW. At least you can see them wrestle. Where you have 40 guys on the roster in WWE who show up, one of them shows up per month basically now. You need to have mid card matches and mid card storylines to see who's going to get over with a push. To see what the fans are interested in, to test stuff out. If you're going to have, what are we up to now? 6 hours of W programming per week now?
No, we're at 4.5. Well, 6.5 because you've got 2 hours of NXT. Now 2 hours of SmackDown. Thank God they got rid of that.
Well, I'm just saying, not even NXT. So I'm saying SmackDown, Raw, and main event. That's 5 to 6 hours, right?
That would be 5 of event and a half because the main event is on Peacock and that's an hour show.
But it's still there. I mean, so you got the 5 hours worth of fill. I mean, put some mid carders in there. Show some Carmelo Hayes, the other guys in the Wyatt family. Besides, anyway, you get what I'm saying. It's like I don't know. I mean, I don't know what the freak they're doing.
Okay, so now, however, with SmackDown going to 2 hours, for some reason, folks are saying, "Oh, certain." Ray Phoenix is not going to be seen. Andrade is not going to be seen. We're not going to get a women's match, a women's match. You had the women's matches. You had a women's segment. You had a great tag match with Ray and Andrade in it. So all you're cutting out is the filler of just extending these segments agonizingly long.
True.
Jelly Roll. Jelly Roll. This is, again, part of the TKO problem here because TKO is at core an entertainment company. They are not a wrestling company. And with Ari Emanuel and I'm sure Dwayne, they're more about the spectacle. They want the big pop. They want to see celebrities. They want this to be Hollywood. It's wrestling. It's wrestling. It's been is it more mainstream now? Sure. But it's not Hollywood. Most people don't like Hollywood. So let's
Well, no, joke. W's always had big time guys. Whether it's Mike Tyson, whether it's
right. I
Snoop
get that.
Dogg,
Okay,
so-
I get that. But people like Mike Tyson and Floyd were athletes, not like
That's
musicians.
true.
Well, Snoop Dogg isn't an athlete.
And Snoop Dogg was a very limited thing and was not.
I mean, Donald Trump wasn't an athlete.
And you would not see them unless it was a major pay-per-view event. This would not be taking time from people who need.
No, I agree. I agree with you. If Jelly Roll is wrestling, I mean, come on,
it's stupid.
But, now, if he has like Jelly Roll's pit with interviews and stuff, I'm okay with that.
I mean, you could. I think you could team Jelly Roll and El Grande Americano and call them Dunkin' Donuts combo number 4.
Yeah. Oh, damn.
I mean, I would like to get an interview segment where people get.
You like that one?
I'll give you a mic drop. I should give you an honorary mic drop on that. And that was actually a pretty good one.
There it is.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to look back on that one and add that to you.
Because we can't do the clips, but we got to do mic drops. I happen to have a spare mic, and I'm dropping it. There we go.
That's fair. I'll allow it. That was a good one. For me, I'm looking. So I'm trying to check and see. Usually, when I would see celebrities coming out or anyone that wasn't a wrestler coming out, I'm thinking it's promotional. So I'm trying to figure out. Okay, well, I'm guessing SummerSlam is in August 2nd. Maybe Jelly Roll's got his tour date scheduled for that. No,
he has off.
His tour date doesn't start until like the 19th, which is like, well, technically that doesn't coincide with him showing up Thursday. It doesn't even coincide with him being on there for SummerSlam. So there's no reason to put him in here just to put him on. And like, that's a damn shame because if you can't get anyone to watch Raw, it's like, okay, whatever I missed on Raw, can I catch up or can I find something alternative in SmackDown on a Friday, just to see what kind of talent's there. If he's gonna do a segment and it's gonna be for another wrestler, that's fine. If he's like, yo man, you're my favorite wrestler, and then someone tries to pick a fight with Jelly Roll and then the wrestler takes him out. That's cool. That's working in the people you have. That gives someone a push, that gives a little bit of shine, that works. But just to put him in there to say, oh, I'm gonna wrestle, you're not a wrestler. If you wanted to bring in a semi-celebrity like that, you could have just done Logan Paul. If you were going to do that,
which really is the only successful celebrity to cross over.
Stephen Amell.
Yeah,
Stephen Amell. What was that?
Stephen Amell.
Stephen Amell. Okay.
Stephen Amell. Yeah, okay, that's fair. Actually, if you told me Stephen Amell was going to do a match,
you haven't seen that match, by the way. What was it? Stephen and I know Stardust was the enemy, so Stardust and someone versus Stephen Amell and what's it called?
You know what?
I'll add that.
Mic drop.
Man.
Thank you, IBS Hot Dog the Wizard. Thank you for showing up. And yes, I agree.
I'm at that one on the house ago.
It's not fair to call Logan Paul a celebrity wrestler anymore. He's just a wrestler.
Right,
I
exactly.
yeah, but it's like if you want to say he was something that didn't start out as a wrestler but can do it really well, that's all I'm saying. It just putting Jelly Roll in to put him in, and nothing coincides with his appearance.
I don't want to see
It's
him
something that would
wrestle. I don't
bother
want anyone
me.
does.
And
But if
now,
you,
and the apologists, like the Glazers, who now do like WWE sponsored podcasts, which now flood the podcast scene.
That's true.
They're like, well, it's great because he's been a lifelong fan. I've been a lifelong fan.
Right? Can I get in there?
Where's my spot at SummerSlam?
Right.
I mean, go fuck yourself, guys. My God.
I'd do it for free. Come on.
I'm good. So the good thing is SmackDown is now back to 2 hours because USA is introducing another crime courtroom drama. Shocking because they don't have enough Law and Order SVU episodes to run, and then they just do something like this. And this is the first 2-night SummerSlam. You mean you can't find a match? You can't find an actual match
Yeah.
to build with the small window you have. Put a small story together. Oh,
Yeah.
oh, what? This is the Whiteys. Oh, the Whitebird 2. Okay, it's this real start. Well, thank you, Whitey. That's awesome. That's great.
Thanks.
That makes sense now.
It's on brand.
Now it tracks.
Oh,
Okay,
man.
we have another topic here that has been making the buzz. I mean, Sean Ross Sapp of Fightful has been going on a rampage, trying to disprove something that we all know. And it was, what is creative control? And he's got a picture of the Mercedes, Hulk Hogan, and Sean going, So he is trying to explain that Mercedes Moné does not have creative control.
what are you drunk?
Stop.
Well, so this is his logic here, and then I'll open it up to you guys. His logic is creative control is a clause that is specifically in your contract that says you have creative control, and he always references Hogan when Hogan was at WCW because that was in Hogan's contract. Now, Sean Ross Sapp will say, well, she's got more creative freedom. She's got creative input. Pay no mention that she has her own writer. And the way her matches are booked. Ego, what do you think creative control is? Not in terms of wrestling, but just overall. When you hear creative control, what pops into your head?
I just think it means like you weigh heavily in on the decisions that are made. Final decisions, not necessarily maybe totally up to you, but they heavily rely on your input before decisions are made. That's all that I think that it means. And I don't think it's asinine to say that no wrestler has creative control or say this person doesn't, because that's like saying that when you go into a job interview, they don't talk about the parameters of the job and your benefits of the job. I have creative control to an extent over my job, with my schedule. It's like, well, hey, if I see a patient and they're like, hey, you need to redo this report, and I say no, and I can give you the reasons why, then I might not have to do that report. So
Right.
I don't understand how you can say no one has considered input on the product. I don't know what it means specifically in wrestling terms, but that's the way that I take it, and that's why I say it's an asinine statement to make.
All right, Matt, your thoughts on what creative control means, not in the wrestling sense, and then we'll bring it back to wrestling.
Well, I mean, creative control means you write your own story to some extent. Now, obviously, that's going to be in relation to the powers that be, right? Do you want me to bring back to wrestling yet, or just
Not yet.
yeah? So, I mean, I'm in IT. My creative control is how I implement particular projects, for example. Or if you're if you're garbage man, it's how you organize your trip. You know what I mean? It's like everyone can have some degree of it depending on what your job is. Obviously, when you're in a job with actual creative, whether it's an author or a movie actor or wrestling, there's storytelling elements to it.
Right. All right. So bringing it into the realm of wrestling, I'm gonna say so. I'm gonna say this, and I think this is not going to be up for debate. Every top star in every promotion has a degree of creative control.
I'll
Yeah.
take it further than that.
Okay.
So every wrestler, even to the bottom tier wrestlers, can have some degree of creative control. I'll give you a perfect example. When Cesaro, everyone thought Cesaro, Carlos Castagnoli, back in WWE, that he was an underused talent or whatever. And Vince went public with the complaint. Said, "Look, it was on Stone Cold interview, one of Stone Cold's podcast. He goes, he's not grasping the brass ring. He's got to, implying something had to go on." Now, what word was that Castagnoli went to Vince with his own gimmick change. Said, "Look, I want to be more aggressive in style. I want blah blah blah." And he did that, and he generated his own push, and Vince went with it. Vince is the most hands-on, like iron control guys. And you come with a good idea, and and make it sound like a business plan, and he'll give a shot. Give a shot with it.
Right.
So obviously, like you said, the top tier guys have stuff worked into their contracts, right?
Yeah.
But pro wrestling, there's so many wrestlers going on, like you don't have time to micromanage every single wrestler. That's why matches have producers and directors.
Right.
So,
Correct.
Yeah. Of course.
So does Mercedes have the creative control that, say, a Hulk Hogan did, where he had
in fact, Shayna Baszler is back with NXT doing exactly that.
Okay, and
Mm.
I'll get to that.
Yeah,
Cool.
So does Mercedes have the absolute power that Hogan did, where it was explicitly in his contract? No, but Mercedes is the highest paid woman, maybe the one of the top 2 or 3 highest paid talent on AEW's entire roster. She does have a massive input, massive creative freedom, massive creative control, to the fact that her boyfriend has now been in a main event for the last 3 weeks. The Beast, the Mortos.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, speaking of Miss Mercedes, 80s, I just want to play this really quick here. This is what she said to TMZ.
Okay, but are you really? Do you have more creative control than do her job too?
I got this.
I mean,
Besides the
because
promo. I got this. I think just every single week you gotta watch. Yes, I have creative control, but I work with Tony Khan very closely, so it's great. It's a great combo.
Man, she got caught off guard.
It's important to remember that Mercedes is one of the elite, which is the Young Bucks, Hangman, who am I missing? Kenny
Omega,
right? Kenny Omega. That's
Jack Perry.
So that group of wrestlers are all basically EVPs behind the scenes, right? Now, the elite as a faction doesn't kind of exist right now,
Right.
and I think they're gonna kayfabe drop. We'll talk about the pay-per-view later, but I think the Bucks are dropping their kayfabe EVP status probably in the event.
I don't think so. Okay. So, again, do the top stars in every promotion, the further you are up, do you have more influence? Yes. I mean, even when Bobby Lashley, MVP, and Shelton Benjamin went to AEW, MVP says we have a lot more creative freedom and have a greater creative input as to how our characters are done. But you're just doing the same thing. But I digress. But
Fair.
he is saying in AEW, as opposed to what they were working under, as Matt said, the very hands-on Vince McMahon, they have a lot more freedom. They have a lot more creative control over how they're booked, how their characters are done. And this is just what it is. I mean, I don't know how else to say this.
Well, I'll give you an example. You just mentioned Lashley and Moore, right?
It looks good to have creative control on the title, but I don't know how real it is. Great optics. I know zilch about the scene though. Oh, Ed, Lovett's here. Hi, Lovett.
Yeah, what's
How
happening, love
have
it.
you been? All right, Matt. You had
So, in
example?
real life, Lashley and Shelton and Benjamin are tremendous athletes. Like
Yeah.
probably two athletic guys you'll ever see in a wrestling ring. Vince and Triple H did not really book them that way. Whereas in AEW now, the booking they're showing that they're using part of their in-ring gimmick is their tremendous athleticism. You know,
Right.
Fair.
So, Ego, your thoughts on? Do you think that Sean Ross Sapp and people like the people at Fightful and Meltzer are just trying to run cover for a certain billionaire nepo baby son?
I think it's weird to be that to share that amount of cognitive dissonance. Like it would, to me, it would show you've never had a real job, like not like a job, like a career in something, to where you're given freedom within a framework of doing something. Like everywhere in every job I've had, you give certain liberties to do the job. As long as you can get it done and you make it work, you make us money and you save us money. I don't care. Like I don't understand why you'd run cover and be that divorced from the reality of a situation, because that's real life. Like I don't know what changes if you say probably they do have creative control. How else do you get 6 belts like you're a boxer? And this is wrestling. It's just it's very weird. Since y'all told me about the IWC for the last month, they've either showed me that they're either batshit insane or they're really cognitive dissonant. And I don't know how much longer I could be in that if that's how I was introduced to wrestling. So that's my thought on it.
So I'll tell you why people like Sean Ross Sapp, Denise Salcedo, Dave Meltzer, why they run cover and why they are so quick to defend and say no. Mercedes does not have creative control.
Please do. I understand.
Because Tony Khan grants them access. It's the same thing that we go through within the genre space, like the Disney shills, the Marvel shills, the KK Star Wars shills. Why do they shill so badly? Because they get access.
that's true. I mean, Meltzer's a jerk either way, but that's true.
Right. Exactly.
Oh, Lord. Okay.
So that kind of goes into that. But like I said, we have got a busy weekend of professional
That's right.
wrestling.
Over 800 hours of professional wrestling this weekend alone.
Pretty much.
Man.
You
And
need 17 TVs to watch it all.
we're not going to go into the Great American Bash card because, frankly, it's not that good. But we've got 4 shows, 3 from the WWE, 1 from AEW, 1's in Texas, 3 are in Atlanta, as Major League Baseball All-Star is coming into Atlanta during the weekend, and there's a Beyonce concert as well. It's a mess. It's an absolute fucking mess.
Wow. Okay.
But we're going to start with Saturday, and that is AEW's biggest show of the year, and that is All In. So, Matt is mostly our AEW guy here. I know a little bit more than I probably should. We have not one, but two casino gauntlet matches. So, Matt, correct me if I'm wrong, but a casino gauntlet match is kind of like a reverse Royal Rumble, where instead of wanting in the Rumble, you want to be toward the end, is the more preferable spot.
Sort of, yeah.
In a casino gauntlet match, you want to be near the front because I believe they say it's 21 possible superstars who run in at intermittent times, and the match ends regardless if all 21 participants are there or not, if a pinfall or submission happens.
The fuck? Are you serious?
So
True
yeah,
story.
this is how it works, right?
What? With 20 people in the ring?
No, it starts out as two guys come out and start a wrestling match.
Correct.
As soon as that happens, if either one of them wins the match, it's over, right?
Yeah.
And then like a Royal Rumble, every so often someone else comes out, right? And the match can end at any given time when one guy gets pinned or submitted, right? So now that's why it's a casino, right? A gamble.
I get it. I'm just like,
Now,
20 bodies in the ring, like you can't really clear space like that,
well,
though, can you?
It's like a hardcore match. You have to win in the ring, but there'll be brawls outside and all that.
Right.
Oh my god. Okay, that's chaotic.
Now,
okay.
if wrestling weren't scripted, like earlier is better until everyone's in the ring, then you want to be the last guy to have maximum chance. You know what
Correct.
I mean?
Okay.
So you can, and now they haven't. It's usually kind of a surprise. Like you know who the first two are because they do a tournament for that. Like Chris Statlander was first on the women's side, so you kind of know who the first two are. And after that, it's kind of usually a surprise who's in the ring, but you know who's going to be there, kind of thing.
And then on the men's side, it's Mark Briscoe and MJF. Is that correct?
Yeah, and neither of whom are going to win it.
No. So we've got a men's and a women's. That's for that.
If I had to say who was most likely to win the men's casino gauntlet match, it solely depends on the order because if the Swerve Ospreay tag team happens before the men's casino gauntlet match, I don't think they've given the order yet. Swerve will be in men's casino gauntlet and may win it because he has a rivalry with Hangman and Page, who will be going over later.
Well, let's hope. We have for the TNT Championship. This is kind of the men's version. I mean,
this is the TNT TV title.
Okay, so there's so many titles here. We have Adam Cole, baby, and Kyle Fletcher. If I have to pick, I'm going with Kyle Fletcher.
Fletcher's on the rise money wise, in terms of merch, plus he's part of a big, a very large stable.
The Don Callis fan.
Don Callis family, Osiris the Virus for ECW guys.
Right.
Cole has a stable too, but not as big. Everything kind of suggests Kyle's going over here.
Right. Okay. Now, as we had mentioned, Bobby Lashley and Shelton Benjamin, they're in a triple threat tag team match. I don't know. I forget this guy. Kevin Knight, I think his name is.
Kevin Knight and Speedball Mike Bailey.
Speedball Mike Bailey.
And versus the Patriarch.
Christian Cage, and I forget his name.
Nick Wayne.
Right. It would not shock me because we still have Dynamite going right now. Yeah. If a fourth team gets added, because right now FTR has no match at All-In.
Okay. Well, the thing about FTR to remember, they're very close to retirement. Like could be less than 3 or 4 months away. So they just completed that match I gave you with them and ours. They seem to be more in the enhancement role right now, putting guys over type of thing.
And apparently the Hurts and it just got murdered.
Yeah, so the Hurt Syndicate is being booked strong, and they have a 4-man stable. So, I mean, there's no way. What was this way? There's no way Kevin Knight and Speedball are winning this, and it's possible. I mean, it's possible Patriarchy can win this, but Christian and Nick look like they look like this Oreo cookie next to me in terms of size compared to Lashley and Shelton Benjamin. You don't appreciate how big they are until you see them.
They're
Like,
big boys.
yeah.
They're big boys. I think if you want to take the titles off of Bobby and Shelton, this is the way to do it in a triple threat where someone gets a sneaky pin in.
So who would you give the title to then? Who do you think wins?
Patriarchy.
Probably these
Patriarchy.
two.
Okay.
Then we got the cancer of AEW, the Young Bucks versus Swerve Strickland and Will Ospreay. Now, there's a stipulation here in this. If the Bucks lose, they, in kayfabe, lose their EVP status.
What is that?
Executive Vice President.
Oh, okay.
Which they are. Anyway, it goes Tony Khan, and then the members of the Elite, the Bucks, and Omega.
Okay.
Mercedes Moné.
Right.
Oh, that's what that means. Okay, I see what you mean now, Matt. Okay, gotcha. Okay.
If Will Ospreay and Swerve lose, they cannot challenge for the World Championship for 1 year.
And now there's two things to note here. Well, maybe three. There's a new top level title being introduced in this thing,
which we will get to in just a second.
Well, that stipulation of AEW World title is not as limiting as it sounds. That's what I'm saying.
Correct.
All evidence suggests that Bucks are going to lose their kayfabe EVP. It seems like they want to de-emphasize that for a while with all the guys who have that. So
for me, this is the only angle that the Bucks have is playing this EVP role. I honestly, I heard a scenario where the baby faces lose, and this causes Swerve to turn heel.
That's a possibility because Hangman's a face right now.
Right. Mm-hmm. So then you get Will next year. Will next year wins the Owen Hart Classic, which then by the time that year is up, it'll be All In again.
Yeah. I mean, that's important. I've heard a couple different variations on this. It really, I mean, it triggered. There's multiple storylines interacting in several of these matches, and it's like a Jenga thing. Like, so we have Ospreay and Strickland who are friends, right? They're friends with their kayfabe friend as well, right? Strickland and Hangman who are like, I'll burn the world before I see you have the heavyweight title, right? They're both like that. Yet they're both faces right now, so it's difficult to have them death matches. Even if I've had death matches recently, So.
Okay, and as Matt mentioned, we're introducing a new title for the AEW Unified Championship. Winner take all. Kazuchika Okada, the Continental Champion, versus the International Champion, Kenny Omega. I think Omega goes over. And from what I have heard, they're not the international and continental titles. They're not done with them. I mean, they are still.
I was going to ask that.
They are still going to do the continental. They're still going to have the continental classic. So
I like that because the continental and international, that's the U.S. heavyweight and intercontinental equivalent. So I do like that they're keeping them, and then you would have AEW International Championship maybe for Collision, and you have heavyweight championship for Dynamite, kind of Raw, and SmackDown kind of split them up. That kind of
Let
they would
me-
have been there with.
Hang on, Matt. Let's address this first. It says Swerve is still insanely over. So how does them losing help him when he can't challenge for a year? This is a gamble. This is a gamble because you're potentially locking out two of your top guys for a year.
Yeah.
Now, as Matt said, they do have this new unified championship, which is supposed to be at the same level as the AEW championship. That does not mean that title is not up, is off the table. And I did get a notice earlier. We're at 7 likes so far, guys. We are 3 away from double digits. So if you don't mind, it costs you nothing. Make sure to hit that thumbs up button down there. Is there anything more you wanted to add to this, Matt?
To the Swerve match.
Yeah.
I think we pretty much said it all.
Okay. So then, as we said, this one, I think Omega goes over. Ego, any thoughts on this? Because this is getting into more of the stuff that you're more familiar with.
I mean, I guess I got Omega going over. It's just weird to have a belt to unify, and then you're gonna split it up again to unify later. It seems like it falls in on itself. But if that's what floats your boat, you're gonna do it. So I guess just Omega wins, but I don't really care much after that because you split them up and put them back together later.
Matt,
I don't know what
thoughts?
to do with it.
Well, they're vacating them. In other words, the winner
Right.
gets the new title, and then and the other two become vacant.
Right.
So do you have to wait until like someone wins?
No. Okay, so
Okay.
Oh, so he doesn't know. He didn't know. Joke. Let me explain. The continental and intercontinental those 2 championships, international. There were in AEW they're called tournament belts. So every year there's a tournament, and whoever wins that tournament holds that belt, right?
Okay.
You can still have regular matches for them after that, but it doesn't matter if you're in. Then when you get to the tournament, the title holder goes into the tournament like anyone else, and whoever comes out of the tournament wins the belt. So
I guess it's confusing for me. That's all.
okay.
That's all.
Okay, but this is very much a Tony Khan thing because this is a very New Japan Pro Wrestling, and Tony is a huge New Japan market. Hey,
I see.
Mr. Roman of the Empire, how are you, sir? I was
Roman.
fortunate enough to be on Ego's channel last week with Roman of the Empire. We're talking toys, big nerdy stuff, and Matt and I will be on his channel tomorrow night talking about all things Superman. So that should be a lot of fun. Then we come to this. The AEW.
So just before we get there,
Okay.
Omega's going to win. Okada, it's a shame. This has a potential match of the year, depending on Kenny O's health. This could be a match of the year between those two.
Now, and I've been hearing that Okada's kind of been phoning it in for the last year, not really just going through the motions in ring. I think for a match like this, the energy level, because it's Omega and because of the history that these two have, both of them are going to bring now their best.
Yeah.
And that brings us to the AEW Women's World Championship between 2 champions, Timeless Tony Storm and the TBS champion, Mercedes Moné. The belt collector, the one who admits she has creative control. Ego, thoughts?
If she wins this 7 belts for Mercedes Moné, does that make it 7?
I believe so, yes. 7 or 6.
God. Please let her lose. I really hope she loses. I do not need to have her with 7 belts at an All-In with a casino theme. Like, God damn it, bitch, you're not the Bellagio. I hope
All
to
right.
God no.
Oh, and Brad had some legal stuff to take care of. He is a lawyer, so he's got some.
You got to finalize that Swerve Strickland Young Bucks contract.
There you go. Matt, thoughts?
I do not want to see Mercedes win. She's been. This will shock you considering my list later on, but she has been very subpar as a wrestler for the past couple of years. Um, she had one good match a few on the last AEW pay per view, which I enjoyed. But every other match she's had since 2022 basically has been not mailing it in, but showing the limitations of her as a wrestler. You know,
Right.
because you can't be like you can't just know WWE style and get over into AEW. It doesn't work. You guys, you know. But
All right. Here's my thoughts, and because so I listen to a lot of folks who really invest in this product. So I'm listening to JD from New York. I'm listening to Jason Solomon, the Solomon monster, and Solomon brings up a good point. Let's say Mercedes goes over. Now what?
Right.
Now what? So her first loss is going to be for what? The TBS title? Because I'm pretty sure she's going to hold that belt just long enough to pass Jade and erase Jade from his and erase and put
Yeah.
herself as the top TBS title reign champion. So, and Tony is the one of the most over characters that AEW has.
Yep.
The TBS title is not up for grabs in this match. So even if Mercedes loses, she really doesn't lose anything because she still keeps that belt and she still keeps her streak going. And Jason Solomon says that that's not to say that she won't one day become the AEW Women's Champion, but not before she drops the TBS title first. Matt, your thoughts on that?
well, that would be the big swerve. Like they've sold us on the inevitability of Mercedes Monet, which means that Timeless Transform has a mountain to climb now. You know,
Right.
so I mean, I would say my gut instinct says 60% chance Mercedes goes over in this one, only because I don't know that Tony Khan properly appreciates Tiny Tony Storm. Okay,
Got you.
um, it she's such a good wrestler that she can that this will probably be a pretty good match because she'll know how to wrestle for Mercedes to look good.
Mhm.
I mean, I hope Tony wins. Because the next AEW pay per views are Forbidden Door and then All Out in like September or late August. Um, so it's the Casino Gauntlet match winner, and that's the other thing. Depending on when these matches occur, you could lose this title, right? Win the Casino Gauntlet match conceivably, and be getting the title shot at Forbidden Door, basically.
Right.
So
So, and I just want to address this. I feel like whoever wins loses to Hater at the O2 Arena. Hater's
no,
not going to be
no.
there because Hater made the unpardonable sin, saying that you could learn a lot from CM Punk.
Well, even so, she's not high enough on the Merc list.
No.
I mean, Tony Storm is number one for them, right?
Right.
And then
Yeah.
as far as selling Merc, and then all of that you have you have Mercedes, you have Thunder Rosa, you got
And besides, I think from what I've heard from the talking heads, the most likely person to win the Casino Gauntlet match for the ladies is Megan Bain.
yeah, she's a strong possibility.
And finally, they've upped the ante here, and I'm sure a match Matt will love. This is going to be one big bloody mess in a Texas death match for the AEW World Championship. John Moxley versus Hangman Adam Page.
Quality of the match wise, leaving aside the hardcoreness of it, like these are two guys who can put a good match. So there's no doubt about that. You know?
I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna give my take on this. If this match is the last match, Adam Page needs to win. There's no question. Adam Page needs to win, and this is going to be the Cody Rhodes Roman Reigns at WrestleMania 40. They're pulling in because the Death Riders have victimized a lot of the roster. You might see Samoa Joe show up. You might
Oh yeah,
see,
there's a whole
yeah,
army.
I
Some of
mean,
those factions, the ops squad, basically.
right. The Ops, you've got Osprey, you've got Kenny, you've got Swerve, you've got
Swerve won't show up.
probably not, but you've also got Darby Allin in there,
Unless
he joins the
Hangman's
Bucks.
about to win, and Swerve and Hangman have a blood vow to never let the other guy win, and they heel turn Swerve, and he kind of takes over the Death Riders.
Oh God, that is a horrible thought.
I'm not saying they should do that, but that will be the only way Swerve shows up for this match. Unless they somehow end the feud between Swerve and Adam Page. These are two guys who burnt each other's homes down, basically.
Right.
So,
So,
but I think the real Swerve on the match is going to be Hangman wins, gets the briefcase, and we find out the championship is not in the briefcase.
They
would do that?
I don't.
Someone else actually has the championship.
I do not like that theory.
I'd be upset about that too. That seemed kind of scummy. That's all.
Everything about this Death Riders thing comes across kind of the way they have a secret master somewhere. The same way there's been a secret master for the various factions over the years. Like it just reeks of some sort of like trick gimmick.
It's Vince, you mean? You mean it's Vince in the back there somewhere? No.
Yes, so some not Vince coming out himself, obviously, but like some gimmick like that. It was Jericho all along.
That's an even worse thought.
I'm just saying.
Okay.
The title belt wouldn't fit in that briefcase.
Right. Do we know this? It's symbolism. So that's all in. Now, at the same time, or during the later stages of the match, WWE has the third installment this year of Saturday night's main event. Now, normally, these shows have a minimum of 4 matches.
Yeah.
Right now, we only have 3 announced. We still have SmackDown on Friday. I think we're going to get another match added on there, especially because you got this match, which should not go more than 5 minutes.
I was gonna ask that. You need 5 because that's going like 3.5 minutes. I was gonna ask that.
Seriously, do not go to commercial break during Gunther Goldberg. You don't need to.
I'm predicting 7 minutes for this match.
The match just needs to be Goldberg gets a few power moves in, hits a spear, tries to jackhammer Gunther. Gunther escapes, slaps the sleeper hold on him. Done.
That's actually a fitting into it. So yeah, I don't see it's going beyond like 6.5 minutes. I don't even know why you. I don't even know why you said they were going to start with 3. Like you need to start with 5.
Because every time we have seen Goldberg come into the ring, he does one move and he's gassed. He is already gassed.
I saw him get gassed walking to the ring the first time. I thought you were joking, but I saw it and I'm like, why is he breathing so heavy? I'm like, he really? Bro,
no, Goldberg at 58 years old is in better shape than I could ever hope to be at that age.
Yeah.
But he's not in ring shape.
No, completely different. That's man. Rough.
Now,
I don't know what other match you put on here, but
we do have LA Knight, versus Seth Rollins. Now, I think Seth Rollins I think it's pretty simple. Seth Rollins goes over here. However, if for some reason, if LA Knight gets the win, we're getting a cash in at the end of the night. Seth is cashing in if LA Knight wins.
He cashes in on Gunther at the end.
Mm-hmm.
That would be nice. So then, do you think that Goldberg's match winds up becoming longer and he winds up just being out of it during that time frame? Okay,
No.
Short cash in.
Well, it's a way to make Goldberg lose without looking bad.
Possibly.
That's fair. I mean, there's
have Braun Breaker hit him with a tsunami or something while the refs are distracted, and then
Bronson Reed, you mean?
Yeah, sorry, Bronson Reed. Yeah.
You mean the Sheik?
Sheik,
the Auszilla.
Yeah. Turn Goldberg into a gold slick.
And then we got, which just should be a banger, Drew McIntyre and Randy Orton. It's good to see Drew back. I'm missing McIntyre. So now I said that they could, because of the blue-haired land whales, last Saturday night's main event, they had a women's match added onto Saturday night's main event. Was for the Women's United States Championship. Zelina defending against Chelsea Green. Now, of the three Saturday night's main events we've had this year, two of them have had the Women's United States Championship as a match. There's one title match at Evolution that's not being defended. Does anyone know what that is?
U.S. Championship.
The Women's United States Championship. You could run Julia and Zelina again, I guess. I don't think so. Or Julia and Chelsea Green, Julia and someone else. Put Julia on the big network stage and let her destroy somebody.
I'm okay with that.
I think, and some folks are saying, well, she's going to be in the Battle Royal on Sunday. Well, a lot of ladies are doing double duty between the Great American Bash and Evolution as well.
Yeah, these guys wrestle 3 to 5 times a week, so it's not like
right. Yeah. This is nothing. Speaking of Evolution, which a half hour after Evolution goes off the air, the man to my stage right and I will be live giving a live recap reaction to Evolution 2, which, by the way, I'm just going to say that the WWE has really screwed their women's roster over, putting this event in the slot it is. It's the last thing on an overbooked weekend as fuck. They are right across the street from a Beyonce concert. As I said, Major League Baseball, the All-Stars are coming in. Right now, they're set up because they're in the same building as Saturday night's main event, which is sold out at like 11,000. Their setup is like for 6,000. They've sold maybe 4,000 seats. They are not helping the women in this. And so, ladies of the WWE, if this is going to be a financial failure, which in all likelihood it's looking like, this needs to be a banger show. Every match has to be at the top of your game. You need to have a great show in spite of how WWE has handled this, with a roster that they say is the best in the world, and they're getting fucked because they want to try to stick it to Tony Khan, which is not going to do a damn thing. So we're going to go through this really quick. We kind of mentioned a couple things. Battle Royal, which is where you might see some of your legends and divas come back. NXT announced 6 of their ladies to be on this in this match: Jada Parker, Kalani Jordan, Izzy Dane, Tatum Paxley, Lash Legend, and someone else. And so like I said, this has a title opportunity at Clash in Paris. I think this kind of dictates that there is no legends, no divas going to win, and NXT stars are going to win. My pick is still Stephanie. Stephanie, I don't care to win. Ego, quick thoughts.
Man, I mean, I was just looking at you were right, dude. That sucks. The men's all-star game for baseball is at 7. Beyonce's concert is at 8. I feel bad for what's going to be a decent card. I mean, it looks like it's going to be nice. I mean, I probably would have Stephanie Valkyrie winning the Battle Royal. She's the easiest, safest bet to me, and everyone kind of knows who she is. She's got the name recognition, and it represents you guys moving forward, not going backwards with either your diva stars of yesteryear. And I don't think the NXT people are ready to be called up just yet for winning this. So it's gonna be a good card for me.
Okay.
It's just I don't see anyone that's a diva winning the Battle Royale.
All right, Matt, your thoughts on the winner of the Battle Royal?
Like you said, Stephanie Walker is most likely to win. There's probably other possibilities, and what storyline to take out of it, and which title they want to go for, and all that.
Right.
As far as I don't know. It seems like shorter would be better for this event, like less matches than more.
Well, I mean, possibly, because we do have a no holds barred match, which is a hardcore match between. I'm sorry. I kind of hope Brad. I hope Brad was here because I'm sure we might get a rant on this. Jade Cargill versus Miss Money in the Bank, Naomi. Matt, your quick thoughts on this match. Who goes over?
I hate both of them. You're right though. The storyline is going to make Jade go over here.
Okay.
Hopefully in a less than 5-minute match.
I'm gonna request to share my screen, JV, because I need people to see something. Okay, is that okay?
If we can, okay, we're gonna share.
Does that work?
Right. Let me remove this. And we'll add this.
All right, guys. So someone posted this. If there was a WWE version, like giving up on a wrestler you had high hopes for. Okay. I searched within my heart what I knew to be true, and this is what was posted. Okay. I said this person, colossal waste of time, is now at 11,000 views and 300 likes and 11 bookmarks. Guys, I say that to say that I don't need Jade to go over on Naomi. Naomi's heel work has been fantastic. Her ex posts have been blowing up. They are actually very hilarious, and I like this proceed with caution look that she's going for hers. If she wins this, I don't understand what no holds barred means. Like for Jade, I
Just
don't
a
know what
hardcore.
that means. Everyone that steps in the ring with Jade is doing a no holds barred match because apparently she doesn't use caution, reason,
Hazard
or
pay.
safety. Okay.
Hazard.
Yes. I want hazard pay every time I step in the ring with Jade Cargill. So I don't like the match. Jade's probably gonna go over just because Naomi's got the money in the bank briefcase. She used it any time. It's just this match is gonna be 6.5 minutes of one kip up with the fake Storm look, and I'm gonna not be hurt until it's time for me to do my move, which is actually where you can tell that she's about to do something. She'll act really hurt, and then she'll do one move, and then run to the corner, and then start doing her move setup. Watch out for that, because it's a really terrible tell, and it bothers me. But she's gonna go over, and I don't like it.
Someone should meme Jade Cargill kipping up into JBL doing the clothesline from hell, and then a tombstone.
So the Money in the Bank briefcase, in storyline wise, is kind of a shield. It's means that Naomi can survive a loss, and Jade is coming off the biggest singles win she's ever had in WWE, and she's going into SummerSlam with a title match, so she needs to be booked strong. Jade's going over. We then come to my favorite titles. Insert sarcasm here. The Women's Tag Team Championship match in a fatal four-way. The champions, Raquel Rodriguez and Roxanne Perez, versus the representative from NXT, Zarya and Solruka. Don't care. They're not going to win. From Raw, the reunited two-time champion, the Kabuki Warriors, Asuka and Kairi Sane. Don't care. They're not going to win. Kairi Sane is probably going to end up taking the pin to close out the match. And representing SmackDown, as some weirdos are calling it, Charlexa. I apologize for saying that. Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss. My take is this. Some people are saying that Charlotte and Alexa are the next women's tag team champions. And that may very possibly be. But it won't be Sunday. Storyline dictates that Roxanne and Raquel need a win to bring them together to make this eventual move, this heel turn. We're working within the Judgment Day to make this work. They need a win. So, Matt, thoughts?
I mean, Judgment Day has to win this. There's no, plus, to be honest, especially Raquel's doing some really good work right now.
Her last match, yes.
Yeah, and that's who could eat the pin, either Zarya or Kairi Sane were the most likely candidates. The one thing I like about women in a match like this, when you have 8 of them in the ring, they have enough numbers to do a lot of nice spots so they look better than they do when there's less members. So
Gotcha.
This will be the way to do, like the women's tag titles should always be like a fatal four-way from now on forever. So,
Ego, thoughts?
For the tag match, I mean, like I said, Judgment Day storyline is going to dictate that they're going to probably wind up winning this. I don't see Charlotte's winning this one or getting close to it. But yeah, maybe in the future they win. I thought they were going to use it as a way to heel turn it to make Alexa versus Charlotte at some point later down the line. But
and that's what the women's tag. That's what the women's tag titles are for, to bring people together.
To break them apart. Okay, well then, cool. Yeah, I got the Judgment Day still winning because they want to drag out the storyline a little bit more, which is what they should do to me. So I got the Judgment Day winning.
Okay.
My audio died. I'll be right back.
Alrighty. Next match. I can't believe this is actually a thing. For the NXT Women's Championship. I still cannot believe that the NXT Women's Champion is JC Jane, and she will be facing Jordan Grace, who has a match at Great American Bash as well, with the TV debut of Blake Monroe. Okay. Interesting. Hey, hello, Steph. How are you?
Steph?
Kai, I'm not sure. Because right now, the White Six are kind of going nowhere. I mean, they're kind of involved in the tag team, and I think if you involve Alexa with them now, it drags her down instead of elevating them.
That's fair.
Just my thoughts. So, Matt, Jordan Grace versus JC Jane. Thoughts?
They should. I don't know that Jordan should be. They should put this on Jordan. Let her do NXT for about with this title for maybe 3 or 4 months, but they're not. They're both Jason Jane holds and Jordan comes up.
Okay, Ego thoughts.
And I don't know what the match setup is for Great American Bash, but I mean I want Jordan Grace to win. I just don't know how they're gonna do this. It's that sucks that she has to be the first opponent, one of the first opponents Jacy James faces.
Because
Man.
the following week at TNA Slammiversary
Mm-hmm.
in a title for title match,
Mm-hmm.
it's going to be the winner of this match versus Masha Slamovich.
Okay.
Title for title.
So you don't want to? Okay.
So,
okay, that makes sense.
Which Jordan was kind of the face of the Knockouts division for a while.
Yeah.
So you could kind of see like, okay, maybe
it's a return. Yeah.
But that's a step backwards for Jordan.
It is. Okay.
So, and I think you keep the belt on Jacy Jane just for the time being. Whatever TNA has to deal with, I'm not going to speculate on that because eventually you're going to put the belt onto Blake, and she's just going to run through the entire
rep shot. Yep. Yeah.
All right. In what could be one of the better matches of the night. I know some of you don't think so, but Ego may have a slight change of heart based on Monday night. Bayley, Becky Lynch, and Lyra Valkyria in a triple threat for the women's IC title. Ego, you thought you may have were somewhat impressed on the Monday?
I said Lyra Valkyria's mic work was pretty decent, and when I go back and look at one of the women's Money in the Bank matches from last year, she did a really good job of performing in ring as well. I still don't like her as IC champion. I think her gimmick is busted. That's to me, but I will give credit. If she has a good match, I will say it's a good match. So I look forward to seeing if the in-ring will match the mic work that I saw on Monday. That is all I can say on it.
Okay, who wins?
Oh, man. Lyra's probably going to win, man. I guess Lyra's probably going to win.
Matt?
Lyra probably win.
Well, I mean, I'm going to go with Bayley here. I don't like Valkyria Valkyria. Just horrible in the ring. I mean, if she's going to get a push, this would be the point to start the push. But I don't know. I mean, Bayley seems like she's ripe for another little title run somewhere. This is a tier 2 title. Is Becky back for the long haul or just between babies? I mean.
Well, she only has one, so we'll see. But I think these two cancel each other out, and Becky Lynch weasels her way out, ekes out a win, and the title can then go back to Lyra at SummerSlam. So I think the Becky. I know. Doesn't like the woo sound, but likes this. Whatever.
I mean, that's not fair. Okay, first of all, I'm not doing woo like a bird.
I haven't done that in a while, so.
You can get a flush down Joker when you do that.
I'm just saying, I will say if Valkyrie ever said one letter, 4 words, woo, I pick a lane, man. I'm trying to help Lyra out here. Pick a lane.
She doesn't need your help, dude. All righty. And in a no-brainer match, this is not a match. Yes, Trish has been back a few times and had a few good matches. She had a good match against Becky Lynch at Payback in a steel cage like 2 years ago. But that's it. This is a nothing match. This is a exhibition. Tiffy goes over. Ego.
Tiffy, I guess it's a grace match, but I mean, seems like kind of a waste to me. But I got Tiff winning this one.
Matt.
Tiffany doesn't win this one. Something Triple H had an aneurysm.
Now, that brings us to what should be the main event. Two of your best talents on the entire roster. I would even go as far as to say Io Sky is one of your best talents, period, in the WWE. Going back before NXT, the Mae Young Classic, Rhea Ripley loses to Io Shirai. In NXT, Rhea Ripley lost multiple times to Io Shirai. Main roster, Rhea has lost to Io Sky multiple times. She's never beaten Io one-on-one and never beaten Io for a championship. It seems that Io just has Rhea's number until Sunday. You've got Crown Jewel in Perth just around the corner in October in Australia, Rhea's home country, and up until this match, I've predicted no title changes. This is where this is a title change, and it hurts me to say. I love my Joshis, but Io's been booked terribly since Mania.
Yeah.
Matt, thoughts?
This match is terrible booking for both of them. This match should be in Perth at that event in Australia, right? That's where Rhea should win it on her home territory, right?
Okay.
This is basically like I would say less than 1/10 of WWE fans are going to watch this match. Right? More people will see this match on YouTube and X clips of the match than will see it in the actual event. And Rhea's probably going to win. The Io's getting booked the horrible way Jey Uso did, with recently, and this should be a match. Should be booked. They should have booked someone here where Io can go over, have a great match and go over strong, but and then setting Io up to be beaten by Rhea.
So, which was my proposal was Io goes over, have Stephanie challenge Io here, because Stephanie doesn't lose anything losing to Io.
Nope.
Have Rhea win the battle, the Royal, and the win there.
Yeah. That would have been a lot better.
Ego, thoughts?
Yeah, I think a title change is necessary. Give it to Rhea. Her first actual win over Rhea Ripley since they first started. So, yeah, the title run hasn't been that great. It's. I think it's just got to come to an end. Give it to Rhea Ripley. Go about your day. Go on to the next feud or whatever match you got going on. That's it. I feel bad for Io because the booking's been terrible. It's not like she's not great in ring. It's not like she can get things going.
She's the best in ring. She's the
best. So I'm like, why can't you not book better talent, but like get a better storyline going? Because she took months to actually overcome everything and win at WrestleMania. Now she's champ. Yeah, and like this is easy to get people pumped up. I'm not saying you could feed her jabronis, but I'm saying like, hey, she could have at least a title match every 2 or 3 weeks against someone that's decent because she's actually great in ring and can be someone that can command the ring and be a general of sorts. So the fact that it's been booked so poorly is astounding and it's kind of disappointing. Like it's gonna fall short, and it's not because of her. Like that sucks.
Right. So that leads us into the staple of the show. And again, StreamYard just being weird, I can't play any clips. We will get that resolved though very soon, folks. It is time for the Wednesday Nights Overbooked Top 5. And in honor of Evolution, we're going with our category, Best Women's Matches of All Time. For those of you who are new here, we have the category and we do 5 takes. Our number 5 take gets 1 point. Our number 1 take gets 5 points. And at the end, we tabulate the points and we will have a definitive scientific answer for this category, Best Women's Match of All Time. I'm going to start with you, Matt. What is your number 5?
5 and 4 are kind of reversible, but I want to go with Hell in a Cell 2009. Who was that the first women's Hell in a Cell match? Becky Lynch and Sasha Banks.
Oh, nice.
We going into this, we all were like, they have to pull this off, or they'll never do another one again. And these two ladies worked their butts off, brutalized each other for the entertainment of the fans, to the extent that women could do that, and very enjoyable match and one of the top 5 all time to me.
All righty. Ego, you're number 5.
All right. My number 5 is actually going to be April 21st, 2000. Lita wins her first women's championship versus Stephanie McMahon.
Okay.
It's not necessarily the match quality. It's just the fact that, like, hey, it's 2000. Team Extreme is in. Went with the actual time frame. And it was the first athletic woman that I'd seen wrestle at this time. So her winning the championship and it being, like, on a regular Raw that we could all access at that point was fantastic. So I've got it at number 5.
Okay. My number 5, we're going to 2006. This is WWE Unforgiven, also involving Lita, and at the time booked as Trish Stratus's last match for the WWE Women's Championship. Trish gets the win. They're in Toronto. They're in the Air Center, and the biggest pop of the entire night, Trish gives Lita a Alabama Slam and then has her feet and she steps through. And instead of going for a Stratusfaction, she ends the match with a sharpshooter in Toronto. The second she stepped through, the crowd lost their shit. Great match. That's why it's my number 5. Matt, you're number 4.
NXT TakeOver Brooklyn 2015, Sasha versus Bayley. That was probably, at the time, up until some recent matches, that was probably the best NXT women's match of all time.
Okay. All right. Ego, you're number 4.
Number 4 is I guess it's in the evolution of this. It was WrestleMania 32, Charlotte v. Sasha Banks v. Becky Lynch, a triple threat match. This had something
WrestleMania
from
35.
35, was that it?
35.
Hell, we got 32 on here. My bad. 35. It had something for everybody. It had Snoop Dogg in a bathrobe. Ric Flair took a bump. And I think the hallmark for me was the fact that I saw Charlotte Flair do a moonsault out of the ring. Because out of the ring completely into cover of Lynch and Sasha Banks. I hadn't seen that kind of athleticism since Lita. And it had been like 15 or about 14, 15 years since I'd seen like a full women's match that had anything in it that was actually going for it. So I got that. Kai, I didn't know about Beth Phoenix. I'm sorry, man.
Hold on. You said it was, hold on. You said this was who in the match?
Charlotte v. Sasha v. Becky Lynch.
Then yes, 32? You're right.
32? Okay,
yeah. 35 we had Ronda Rousey.
No, I got 30. It was 30. 30, yeah. 30, I had 32. Okay. Yeah.
Good, because 35, that was the last match, and it was like 7 hours long, and but by the time you got to that match, your brain was
I watched. I was done. No, I was 7 hours. I couldn't do that.
And I guess you need to put some respect on Beth's name there, Ego.
I didn't know about Beth Phoenix. I'm just saying this is for when I started watching. I'm sorry. If I knew of Beth Phoenix at the time or I thought about her, I'd have put her on the list too. It's my bad.
Okay. My number 4. We're going to the land of the rising sun. We're going to Japan. Match in Stardom. This is for the New Japan Pro Wrestling Women's Strong Championship. This is last year. Stephanie Devacare challenging the champion, Julia. Why this match? Because this is a pivotal point in what we have now.
Yep.
Stephanie Devacare goes over, wins the New Japan Pro Wrestling Women's Strong Championship. A few months later, she's defending it at AEW Forbidden Door against Mercedes de Monet. Mercedes goes over, and 48 hours later, Stephanie Devacare is in a WWE ring. So without this match happening, maybe Stephanie's not here. Who knows?
Well, she said she wanted to be W since she was like 12. So
Right. But it may have taken a little longer. But this match was kind of a pivotal point.
Yep.
So that's my number 4. Matt, you're number 3.
We talked about it a lot. WrestleMania 41, Io Sky versus Bianca versus Rhea. And we've talked about it a ton already, so I don't really know to expound upon it.
Right. Ego, you're number 3.
Number 3, Women's Elimination Chamber 2025. That was fantastic. I mean, I always wondered if there's any substance to Liv Morgan in ring, and that solidified it for me.
She's a beast.
Man. Like I was unfamiliar with the game. I apologize. I mean, but again, it had everything. It had big setups, big spots. There was the inevitable Jade Cargill return and confirmation.
Which is the best she's ever looked.
Yep.
The best she's ever looked.
I don't say it's the best she's up. So I said, yeah. So there's her return. There's the confirmation of Naomi's heel turn. There's, oh my God, she's carted out. There's one less person. I mean, it had a lot going, but didn't seem overbooked for a match of that size. And again, I love the women's matches when they're very collaborative like that. So I got it down at number 3.
And Liv taking that hair whip.
The hair whips, yeah, man, that was rough. So I give her props for that.
All right, my number 3, Matt. Same thing. It's night 2, opening match. Rhea, Io, and Bianca. Still, as of this year, it's the best match of the year so far. All right, Matt, you're number 2.
So this is from AEW All Out 2024. This is Chris Statlander versus Will Nightingale in a Chicago street fight. I was surprised these two did as well as they did in this match. I've watched it a couple of times since then. Basically, it's a hardcore match, right?
No, you like
these two in real life. They're great friends and they work well together. They're probably, in terms of like, they're relatively young compared to some women, but they're probably the 2 best performing women power wrestlers right now.
Gotcha.
In terms of like what we want women power wrestlers to do in the ring, So
gotcha. Yeah. All right, Ego, you're number 2.
All right, my number 2, man, Women's Money in the Bank 2024, man. That was, again, huge collaborative spots, culminating with Io slamming the absolute bejesus out of Zoe. That was
the Michinoku driver.
Yo, the driver and the cell, man. And then within a minute after that, you're like, oh wow, like, wait, oh my God, is actually are we gonna have Tiffy actually grab the Money in the Bank briefcase? Like, they happened back to back and within a minute of each other. This is like with 23 minutes of build up with them setting up the 4 ladders at one time. So I mean, huge spot. Huge pop for Tiffy. It was a great match. I've got that at number 2.
Okay. My number 2 is one of the best blow-off matches. It happened this year. And appropriately, it was called a Hollywood ending. The Hollywood ending match between Mariah May and Toni Storm. I mean, it's everything. That is a blow-off match that needed to be as the violent as it was. The only thing that kind of drew away from that was there were so many other matches on that show that were also a bloodbath. So it kind of took away from the impact. But that is exactly what that match needed to be. So that's why it's my number 2. All right, Matt, you're number 1.
Well, your number 2 is my number 6. It almost made the list.
Really?
But I couldn't. Those two NXT belts, I had to put them both in there. I just couldn't. I was like. So my number 1 needs a little explanation. In Lucha Underground, there was a guy named character named Marty Martinez, right? His gimmick he was a sort of lecher / scummy. He hit on all the women, stalked them. He'd kind of creep out on the men, trying to get them to do con jobs and all that. That was his wrestling gimmick, right? So, and he had a sister character named Mariposa, who you would know as cheerleader Melissa from TNA if you've watched it, right? That's our more famous persona. And Marty decided to put his moves on the top female face of the company, Sexy Star. And so Marty spent months sort of stalking her, giving her gifts. Then eventually it became like when he refused his advances, he would beat her up after a match or whatever, right? So eventually his sister Mariposa got involved, right? And it's led to the first ever Lucha Underground no mas match between Sexy Star and Mariposa. And it was an amazing match, highlighted by Sexy Star screaming at the camera, basically, "Go fuck yourself," to one Mariposa tried to submit her. Like it's probably one of the top 5 Lucha Underground matches. That's how good it was, and not just because it was a hardcore match. These two ladies and Marty and then the Mac sold this storyline that had been building for probably between 3 and 6 months. Right? It was a great storyline, and bodies got car out afterwards, and I just love it.
Okay. I would have never guessed you like hardcore matches, Matt.
Lucha Underground, people need to go back and watch it. It's such a great 4 seasons of wrestling.
It really was.
Ego, you're number 1.
Man, Mariah May versus Toni Storm. That send-off match was phenomenal. Again, there's evolutions from what I've seen from athleticism to cooperative matches. And this one was just a slobber knocker with blood involved. I have never seen women do a hardcore match separate from Lucha Underground. And I've never seen it that bloody ever where it actually worked to effect, especially when I was told some of the backstory and what all was going on. It was the only way that you could end the feud. It was almost a feud to end all feuds to me. So I got that at number 1. That was one of the best matches I've ever seen.
All right. My number 1. If my number 1 doesn't happen, no, because I don't think they're going to because I don't think they could make the money on her.
I think she's a little too old.
If my number 1 match doesn't happen, my number 2 and 3 matches don't happen. 2015, Barclays Center, NXT TakeOver, the main event, 30-minute Iron Woman match for the NXT Women's Championship. It's Bayley and Sasha Banks. Those women tore the house down. Absolutely back and forth, brutal match.
Yeah, amazing match.
And it's there's a reason why it's considered the greatest women's match of all time. It really put a stamp on NXT and the women of NXT, but it led to the women's revolution with WWE and bringing more of these indie wrestlers into the fold and kind of push the divas out.
Yeah.
So we have a definitive number 1, a definitive number 2, and a definitive number 3. In third place, it is a triple threat match. Io Sky versus Rhea Ripley versus Bianca Belair. Night 2, WrestleMania 41. In second place, it is NXT TakeOver, Bayley and Sasha Banks. And number one, it's the Hollywood ending, the Mariah May and Timeless Tony Storm.
Yeah.
So we will have a new top 5 next week. But until then, I want to thank everyone. Make sure if you haven't hit the like button yet, make sure that you do. And in the meantime, Mr. Matt, the real Amerimat, the unbearable 753, what do you have coming up, sir?
Well, we'll be on Roman's show tomorrow talking about Superman. And then next week we have this show, obviously. And then this weekend there'll be a video for my standard weekly video for the questioner shop. So, with the questioners.
Very cool. And Mr. LeftEyeEgo, what do you have coming up, sir?
Dude, I'll be streaming with you on Sunday evening, going over the Women's Evolution card. And I don't think we're going to do, whatchamacallit. I don't think we're going to be doing the Ordinary Games this weekend. Sure, still kind of in recovery from being sick the last week. Plus, I'll be out of town. I'm actually going to see Superman on Saturday. So I'll hopefully be doing a review of that as soon as I can. But that's what I got coming up for Sundays, first things first.
Gotcha. And as Matt said, you can catch me with Roman of the Empire tomorrow. I'll be dropping a video on Friday talking about, going over, not really making predictions for Saturday night's main event, the Great American Bash. Sunday with this guy right here doing a recap of Evolution. And then Monday I will be doing a video, actually not on wrestling, going back to my genre, where I will be doing a review of Superman. But until that time, folks, I want to thank everyone for being here. And on behalf of everyone at Wednesday Night is Overbooked, I want to say, keep talking, keep smiling, always have fun. Until next time, toodles. We're waiting